Take us back to that day for you, and now it's 10 years ago.
Most of the people who have survived or have been through anything similar to this mass tragedy, targeted violence, survivors, there's a part of you that feels like it has been 10 years, and there's another part of you that feels like it was just yesterday. And I think that when you're in that facility, when you smell the smells, when you have the feeling of that atmosphere, when we're at the temple, it's difficult because there's an intentional reclamation that needs to be done. And that means that you have to be intentional in the processing of pain. And so for us, the aftermath looked like us cleaning the walls and us cleaning the carpet and ripping out the carpet and making sure that blood wasn't there. Today, we only have a single reminder. There's only one bullet hole that still exists from that shooting. But the emotional reminders are still all over the place. Right here, you will see, so within Sikhi, there's, remember it said, we are one. It says right here, we are one, August 5th, 2012. And this was the round, the 9mm round that was first fired into the Sikh Temple. There was 2 women here, and those 2 women were coming out and going on to the kitchen area. The people that were here at that time were the ones that come early. And so they were just coming in, and then the first shot that Wade Page took hit right here, and that was in between the 2 women. One of the women went inside, and then one of the women went to the kitchen, what we call the langar area. And so it got lodged here. And so this sits as the only physical reminder of what happened that day. And we kept it there intentionally because as we think about the power of division and we think about what this person was trying to do, we want to make sure that we intentionally kept community together and we stay true to our values. And so the first words of the Mool Mantra, which is the Sikh scripture, is that Ek Onkar, we are one. Part of me honestly wanted to leave the blood soaked in the carpet. I wanted to leave the blood on the walls. I wanted there to be a reminder of responsibility. Every Gurdwara in the world, every Sikh temple in the world has 4 doors. And so the 4 doors, one to the east, the south, the north, and the west.
What does that signify?
That signifies that we're a faith that is open and inclusive and loving of all faiths, of all people. And so when that happened on August 5th, it was really, are we going to close off our doors? And we said, no, we're not going to close off our doors. We're going to remain open, but we have to remain open with security protocol in place, but making sure that, we try to keep it the same way where, we're hosting, we're there for community, and I think since then, we've actually gone out into the community. So Surjit Singh has gone out into the community and done services at other places. A lot of times when we've talked about PTSD, we've talked about it from an individual sense. But the very real reality is that the mental health world is starting to understand communal PTSD. And when a community is targeted, everyone in that community starts to feel it. So I saw within the days after of this extreme hypervigilance of people kind of making sure that everything was okay, of tentatively coming back to their place of worship and trying to reclaim it, but yet still, there was an uneasiness. And I think that part of that was that defiant spirit that I felt of saying, no, we need to reclaim our place, not only in this, in Oak Creek and at the Sikh Temple, but we need to reclaim our place in America. I thought about the kids who are growing up right now, who are 10, 12, just coming to this country, and thinking to them and saying, okay, if they're scared because of what happened, then the terrorist won. But if we can lovingly challenge ourselves out of this place of trauma, then we won. I could not let down an entire future generation of kids that come to this temple and say, you know what, we can do this. In fact, it's written in our faith that we have to do this. And so within Sikhi and Sikhism, there's a spirit that we call, and it's called Chardi Kala. And Chardi Kala basically means to be relentlessly optimistic. And the whole saying goes, Nanak Naam Chardi Kala Tere Bane Sarbat Tapala. And when people say the whole quote, this is what we say before we leave from service every single day. Every single time we have a service, we say this. These are the last words that we say before we leave. And basically what that whole saying says is, for the peace and prosperity of all mankind. Of all mankind. Not just our faith, but for the peace and prosperity of all mankind, we shall be relentlessly optimistic.
Is that how you helped your family, especially through this?
I think my family helped me more than I could help them. There's a certain strength and resilience in youth. Thinking back to that time, there was a lot of nights that I slept next to their bed. And I would sit there and hold them and you know, spend way too much time than fathers do to like just tuck them in, right? And we tuck them in and we go to bed. But I would find myself sitting there for hours. I had this conversation with my wife and other people and saying, hey, I think I'm going through something. What's going on? And I'm like, I want to spend so much time with the kids. I sit, like I hold them for much longer than a father probably should. Like I almost need them to give me something. And then I had a conversation with my brother, and he's like, you're loving your children. You want to be with them and you want to spend time with them. Part of you would have taken that for granted before. Part of you would have just said, you know what, let me just tuck them in and go to bed. And now he's like, I don't think you're going through post-traumatic stress. I think you're going through post-traumatic growth. And you're becoming a better father and a better husband and a better community person. And so in a way, all of this that's happened has helped me be a better person, be a better man.
Hi, Portia Young here. Watch more stories from 1036 on our YouTube channel. Subscribe today, and remember, our story is you.